Hello, good evening. Did everybody hear me? Sorry about that, I just got out a little bit. That's cool. Boys, can you hear me clear?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yep.
Excellent. Okay, looks like we've got rid of that gremlin, whatever that was. Seems like somebody was trying to feed Gizmo after sundown. But we're back. It's cool. It's all done. Welcome to episode 4 of the Wulong Talks podcast. My name is Jason. Tonight we're going to be going through everything that happened at San Diego Comic Con. I mean, basically, if you didn't know San Diego Comic Con was going on, you must have been living under a rock or something. Maybe this, maybe you're not really a nerd if you didn't know that San Diego Comic Con was going on. But I know everybody who's watching this video knew it was happening. We got a lot of good stuff come out of San Diego this weekend. Lots of things to talk about. So we're going to jump right into it. First of all, boys, introduce yourselves. Alvin, say hello.
Hello, good evening, namaste, konnichiwa. I don't know why I said all that, but hello.
It's all positive energy,
Yeah.
man. It's all positive energy. Richard, say hello.
Wagwan.
Obviously, Richard's been spending too much time on the local estates, but don't worry about that.
It's so hood.
That's you guys are racist. I don't give a damn.
All right, guys. So, man, let's talk about Comic Con. I mean, first and foremost, like, I don't understand who it is I have to rob or kill or bribe or perform sexual favors for to get a ticket to go, because I've been trying to go for the last 3 years and I can't go. But yep, this year was another year where we missed out. But thankfully, thanks to YouTube and to the relevant studios and comic book companies and artists kind of being a bit open with what they do, we're getting more and more of an insight into what happens and what goes down at Comic Con. So it means we're able to kind of share in all of the good stuff that's dropping right now. So let's start talking about Marvel Studios. Marvel Studios went with a big relaunch of their movie studio as a whole. They changed their logo that they use at the beginning of their movies and things like that. So it's much more in keeping with the movies that they've made before. There's shots of the Hulk and Iron Man and things like that. And one of the big things to come out of the Marvel Studio panel was, of course, the Doctor Strange trailer. Um, Guys, that Doctor Strange trailer was just amazing. I mean, I was very much on the fence about that movie, not necessarily because of the quality of it or the characters that were involved or anything like that. More for kind of political reasons because of what they did with the character of the Asian one. But I have to say that trailer has really won me over big time. So, initial thoughts on the Doctor Strange trailer? Alvin, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, I mean, I saw the trailer. What was it? Sunday morning, when I woke up, uh, and yeah, it pretty much met my expectation. It kind of surpassed them actually as well. I'm a big fan of how they make the magic look like, because it's not just like particle effects or anything like that. It's like they wave their hand and kind of the world around them changes, like it's like looking through a kaleidoscope kind of thing from when you're a kid, and it has like a symmetry to it, and it looks good. The whole film just looks like it's going to be quite a good movie, and be take place in an extended amount of time as well. It doesn't feel like it's just going to be like your average kind of it happened in a week kind of origin story. But now everything looked legit. Like there were even some funny moments in there, with the Wi-Fi password joke and all that kind of business. But now I think it looks sweet. It's like Inception, but magic and all crazy and weird and just fucking shit you've never seen before. And that's what I'm all about with my cinema experiences. I want to see shit I've never seen before, and that is like this is going to be good for people who keep on going on about superhero fatigue, because people have been going on about so much around the time of BVS and Civil War. And hopefully this will make them shut up, because they're doing something different, they're doing something new, it looks cool, so fucking just sit down, shut up, and watch it and enjoy it.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be something fresh. That's for sure. Rich, what did you think, though?
Oh yeah, I loved it. I mean, like Arvin said, it's something different. I remember when they first announced that they were gonna add Doctor Strange to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and to me it felt like it just made sense, because like like a lot of the characters that have been introduced in the Marvel Cinematic Universe have fulfilled their a particular position. So, for example, you've got Tony Stark, who's like the technological genius, strokes, and then you've got Bruce Banner, who's a scientist. Whereas, like in the Marvel comics, you've got people like Bruce Banner and things like that, and and Reed Richards. But obviously, certain characters belong to certain other companies. But with Doctor Strange, I remember them saying how they wanted to create a magic that could be firmly based in reality. So they were talking about using things like quantum physics and stuff that could essentially could be used, that could be a reality in theory. So I'm really interested in how they're going to approach that. That's number one. Number two, I'm really interested to see where this film is gonna take place, because obviously it does look like it's a bit of an origin story. It looks like it might have a bit of maybe like a Green Lantern feel, but just like obviously better. Whereas anybody who's a fan of Doctor Strange know that it actually ends up being a villain. So obviously there's going to be at some point they're going to have some kind of falling out. And number three, like I said, where does this film take place? Because I don't know if you guys remember in Captain America: Civil War, when they're going to fire those like special cannon guns from like the flying spaceshipy thingies. When they're talking about a hit list, Tony Stark's name comes up, and it shows basically like Stark Tower, and then it shows basically Bleecker Street, and they mention Doctor Strange's name. So as far as we know, or as far as it stands in the cinematic universe, Doctor Strange is actually active. So hopefully let's see it. So I don't know. I'm really interested to see where this film's gonna take us. But yeah, I'm loving it. I'm loving Tilda Swinton as well. I'm loving the guy who plays Baron Mordo. I can never pronounce his name right, so I'm not going to try it.
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Yeah, Chichi. And not laugh, man. No,
bro, you're of African heritage and you can't pronounce the man's name. That's disgraceful.
I'm from Wakanda, okay? So, but and Mads Mikkelsen, who's another amazing actor as well. So yeah, I mean, all in all, I'm stoked for this film. I can't lie. It looks something like super fresh, a cross between The Matrix and Inception times 10 with a little tab of LSD. So yeah, I'm happy for it.
Yeah, I think I really like the way they've kind of gone with that kind of old Steve Ditko style. For the visuals in terms of things looking very trippy, like Alvin said earlier, it's like looking through a kaleidoscope almost, and it definitely has that feel. That was one of the things that I was wondering, how were they going to be able to capture that and to display that on the screen in a convincing way and in a way that feels new and fresh to audiences, and it seems like from the trailer they've managed to do that. I'm really happy with Benedict Wong being cast as well as Wong. For those who don't know who he is, he's done a lot of work in British TV, but primarily you probably know him from the Marco Polo series, he plays a great card in that. And I think he's going to bring something very different to the character of Wong. From what they were saying in the panel, he was saying that the kind of manservant role is kind of gone out the window now. That's not really the one that you're going to get. It's a very different kind of character. He's like a drill sergeant almost, and he's going to be the guy who kind of keeps Doctor Strange on his toes. So that I think will be quite an interesting thing to see. But yeah, I think as you said, Rich, Mads Mikkelsen's going to be fantastic. I love Mads Mikkelsen. Ever since he did Hannibal, that's my guy now. He's on my list of people that I love. And I think he really kind of brings a real sense of quiet menace to any character that he portrays, especially if it's a villainous character. And that within the Doctor Strange universe should be really, really interesting. In terms of like comic book runs that the film may have been inspired by, do you guys have any ideas as to what runs it might be inspired by? Because I know Doctor Strange, but then I don't, if you know what I mean. For a lot of the comics I read when I was growing up, he was always the guy who kind of appeared in a story when, to put it bluntly, shit got real. So when there were threats that the heroes just couldn't deal with, that's when Doctor Strange turned up. But I don't know much about, like, I know his origin story, and I know the stuff that Steve Ditko worked on, but beyond that, I don't really know a lot. So do you think there's any kind of major Doctor Strange story arcs that you can think of that they might be drawing on for the movie here? Rich?
No, no, I mean nothing has come to mind. I mean, apart from, let's say, like the origin story where it is him and Baron Mordo, like, being taught by the Ancient One, and like I said, it kind of, I know from what unless I'm wrong, from what I can remember, like Baron Mordo actually being the one who's actually meant to be the chosen Sorcerer Supreme, but then but like having like a dark streak in it, falling to Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange having to step up to the plate. From what I saw of the trailer, I at least got that much. As for what other storylines it may pick up on, I'll tell you what I am really hoping for, and I'm just throwing it out there. Like, I know that at some point, I mean, although it has been retconned in the comics, I don't know if you remember, but Doctor Strange was actually in charge of the Defenders, and at some point they became the Secret Defenders. So I mean, obviously, like, I'm kind of jumping ahead, but with the introduction of the Hands, which are known to use magic to bring people back to life, and then we know that the Defenders TV series is coming. I don't know, man. Maybe it might be maybe you might get some form of offshoot and a spin-off into that. But as for storylines that they may be using for the Doctor Strange film, I've never really been a Doctor Strange fan, to tell the truth. If he's in a comic book, I'll read him with him in it, but I wouldn't be the first person to say, hey, Doctor Strange #1 is out. Like, nah, that's not me.
Al, anything to add?
No, I mean, I don't have a clue really about any kind of major Doctor Strange storylines, but that Defender's point that Rich brought up, it would sound like a good idea, but I mean, there's even kind of red tape in and amongst Marvel itself, kind of when it comes to TV and film. So I mean, it may be able to reference some stuff that Doctor Strange, if they wanted to, if there is any magic in Defenders, they can reference obviously some stuff or allude to things, but Strange showing up. I mean, although Cumberbatch has done TV, so I don't know. It all depends as to what the actors want, really. I mean, if the actors have the power to kind of influence, because they're big names and all that, then they could probably maybe do what you said. But on the whole, kind of at the moment, I'd probably say nah, just because the TV and movie stuff are still quite separate, and it's only really Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that really references anything, really. And I mean, Daredevil has and Jessica Jones has, but not to the same extent.
Yeah, I mean, from what I understand, there's a lot of, as you said, red tape and kind of legal things that prevents too much integration between the two different sides, because, as you said, Alvin, the movies and the TV are kind of being treated almost as separate entities at the moment. But the Defenders idea would be an interesting one for sure. And yeah, you're right, Rich. I'd forgotten about that. But yeah, he was the head of the Defenders at one point in the comic books. So it would be interesting to see if something like that could happen. But as Alvin said, maybe realistically it's only going to be something where they kind of allude to it. But anyway, we'll get to the TV stuff, because the TV stuff, I can't wait to get into that. But yeah, so Doctor Strange, I think it's safe to say we're all looking forward to the movie, right?
Yeah, totally.
Cool. Okay. So the next thing up was the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 panel. That was one of the funniest panels I've seen in a long time. Marvel usually do really good panels. The Doctor Strange one, they had like a light show and a smoke show and all of that. The Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 panel was really, really funny. They brought out the Ravagers, and the Ravagers were kind of cracking jokes the whole time. And it was just a lot of fun. There was just a lot of fun energy around it, which is great, because I think that's what they're looking to carry over from the first film into the second. And then we got introduced to Kurt Russell. He didn't really give any information away about his character on the panel, but it came out later in a discussion that he was going to be playing Ego, the Living Planet. Now that was like for me, left field as hell. I did not see that coming. So, Rich, how do you think that's going to work in terms of Kurt Russell playing Ego, the Living Planet, in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2? Do you think he'll be an actual planet, or do you think they'll find a way to explain him being in human form or anything like that?
Well, you know what? First things first. If you actually look at Kurt Russell's face and say like use Photoshop and let's say put it on the moon or something like that, or any form of planet, he actually when he's got that that little gunslinger moustache that he has and his little flowing mane, like that's almost like part mullet. He actually does look like Ego the Living Planet. Yeah, that's. I'm not saying he's not a handsome guy, but he's got that square head moon face, like The thing is, don't laugh, man. Keep laughing at me. Stop mocking me, man. But what I was gonna say is that basically, one of the powers I do remember that Ego had, he was like, because obviously he was a living planet, but I do know that he was actually able to create humanoids from his actual planet himself, himself, which is the planet. So, for example, I remember there was one storyline where Thor got trapped on Ego, the Living Planet, and he wouldn't allow Thor to leave by, he's creating these natural disasters and storms and everything, and he actually created these humanoid forms that also that he was able to control because they were part of him, and they were using him, and he was using them to help keep Thor hostage. To make him a natural living planet, I would like that. I mean, obviously, it's something that we know about already. But the thing that I'm liking about the Guardians of the Galaxy, as compared to what we've seen so far from the Guardians of the Galaxy, as compared to the rest of the cinematic Marvel universe, is that the shit that we see out there is fucking crazy and it's nice. It's just they're allowed to go like you said left field and just shock us with things. So you've got Howard the Duck appearing in cameos, talking you've got the Russian dog who's got the telepathic powers. I actually can't remember his name. Yeah, Cosmo. Yeah, you've got the head of a celestial that's used as like a international hub for the worst people that can't get into Mos Eisley Canteen or something like that. So I definitely would like to see him as a living planet and bring something different, and then hopefully they bring in Ego the Living Planet, and then Fox finally decide that they can't do anything with Fantastic Four. And then they start bringing characters like Galactus and really going for it, man. But maybe that's just something I wish for. But yeah, that's my opinion on the Kurt Russell character anyway.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, Ego is it's a fascinating choice because as I said, it's just completely left field. I did not see that coming at all. Of all the list of characters they could have chosen, I really didn't think Ego was going to be one of them. But if anybody can pull it off, James Gunn can, because look at what he did with Guardians of the Galaxy. So at this point, I've got absolute faith in what he's doing. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see any of the footage that they released at that panel. Some hacker out there, I'm sure, has tried, but it didn't get out there. So we can only kind of speculate as to what people sort of saw and things like that. But there were other new characters introduced as well. There was Mantis was introduced as well. Alf, do you know much about Mantis and what she's going to do?
No, I'm not terribly familiar with any of the Guardian stuff. Most of the Guardian stuff I'm familiar with was from animation. So Earth's Mightiest Heroes. I remember they appeared in a few episodes of that at one point. So I'm not familiar with the team as they have been in the comics throughout time, unfortunately. In fact, when Guardians first came out, they kind of I thought, wait, is this Starjammers? And then I was like, no, it's a completely different team.
Rich, do you know anything about Mantis and what role she might play in the movie?
Well, from what I can remember of Mantis, my main thing of first seeing her was she used to be the girlfriend of the Silver Surfer, and she was a celestial being, I think that belonged to a race or because I haven't seen anything of her in a little while, but she was a celestial being who had some form of telepathic powers and was an amazing fighter, and I think she either came from the Kotati race, which is almost like, what's the best way to describe them? I think they were like a green skinned race that were all about like almost hippie-like, if I remember. Um, and she was like some form of, I think, soothsayer, so she was able to predict the future or something like that. I do remember that she gets killed off. I do know that she gets killed off at some point. But that's all I can actually remember of her. I mean, the last time I actually read something with her in it was maybe some of the old Guardian stuff, but she was treated a lot differently because this has been a lot of stuff has rebooted. And before that, I'm talking like Silver Surfer issues, like I'm talking like the 90s. You know, like when they were making special foil covers for the for comic books and stuff. That's
Mm-hmm.
read anything with her that was, you know, of any significance. But she's an interesting character to play because I think she's, from what I know, or well, depends how she's gonna be portrayed. If they portray it like how she's portrayed in the comic books, excuse me, then she's definitely gonna be the calmest one out of the whole of the Guardians. Like everybody has their role in the Guardians of the Galaxy, but she's almost gonna be like I said, like almost like trippy 60s type of character. So it'll be interesting to see how she fits in with the rest of the group.
Mm, mm. Yeah, for sure. I mean, the Mantis that I remember is kind of pretty much as you explained it, really. So you hit the nail on the head, sort of being the partner of Silver Surfer and things like that. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see how she's incorporated into this new movie and what kind of role she plays amongst the team and how that affects the team dynamic as well. Because on the actual panel, the actors didn't go into much about like what the characters were going to be doing or how they changed, obviously because they don't want to spoil it before the movie's out. But there were very few hints about where sort of certain character arcs are going and things like that. So they're still keeping the cards very close to their chest. So we'll have to wait and see with that one. But yes, I can't not finish without mentioning Yondu and Yondu's new hairstyle, which was brilliant. Michael Rooker's he's really one of my favourite actors as well. I love the kind of wild enthusiasm he brings to everything he does. And Yondu was one of the standouts of the last Guardians of the Galaxy film. So his look, the way they've kind of given him that mohawk fin thing on the top of his head is just brilliant. So with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, that is out in May next year, is that right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh,
So
yes, but in saying that, you actually just reminded me. I noticed it, but I didn't put things together. But I like the update of Michael Rooker's hair. Like if you actually look at the character of Yondu from the original Guardians of the Galaxy, that's actually how his hair is.
mm,
The race of people that he actually comes from, that's how all their hair. That's how all that every person from that planet has that type of hairstyle, where it's almost like a fin, as compared to like when his hair was in the first one, it was like a mohawk, but more like a Mr. T type of version. But that's just some random trivia out there. I just thought I'd throw out, just in case for people to take notes on.
cool. No, thank you. That's good. That's why you're here, bro. We need context. That's why you're here. This is your role. Cool. Al, did you want to add anything on Guardians before we move on?
No, I think you pretty much said it. Like you said, Michael Rook is sick. The hairstyle thing. It's Guardians in it. It just makes everyone. Guardians seems to make everyone fucking happy for some reason, and like everyone is just glad to see it. Like get a sequel, and freaking do what they do.
Cool. Wicked. All right. The next panel was, I believe, was when they introduced the Black Panther cast, I think. Because I can't remember the exact order that everything went in. If I got the order wrong, then yeah, sorry, but I don't remember. But they introduced the Black Panther cast and they brought them out. They didn't really, obviously the film's still a way away, so there was no kind of detail at all given about what direction the movie was going in or anything like that on the panel itself. Although I do understand there was a bit more information that kind of came out in separate interviews after the initial panel. But they did introduce Danai Gurira from The Walking Dead, and she's playing the head of the Dora Milaje, right? What do you think about the casting? Sorry, that's out to either one of you who wants to answer.
Well, I mean, as long as you get good actors and they're black, then it's all good to me. Like, I just keep it coming. You know what I mean? I'm not really interested though until like I mean, obviously we saw a tiny bit of what Wakanda could look like in Civil War, but I think when we actually see like the casting, I'm like, cool, awesome. I think pretty much everyone who's cast so far is like pretty good in my book. But it's only when I actually get to see shit is when I'll start like doing backflips and that.
Rich, anything to add?
Yeah, I think I actually agree with Alvin. Because well, from what I can gather, the way how they're going to be approaching Black Panther is going to be epic. It's going to be basically how they're trying to approach him in the comic book series and how they've done it before in the comic book series, where it's not just going to be Black Panther, it's going to be Wakanda. So right now, I mean, like the casting just seems to be perfect. Like you cannot go wrong. Like, you know, every time they were just releasing this person joining the cast or that person joining the cast, you were just like, shit, yes, like you're actually taking note of what needs to be done. But as it stands right now, I mean, until we see anything, like I'm just happy with what they've done so far. But there's nothing really to go on really, apart from we know that Chadwick is amazing as T'Challa. So I mean that's good enough as it is right now.
For sure. They said the excitement for this film is quite high, and I think the kind of expectations for it are really high as well. And given the amount of quality they've brought in so far, you know, it looks like they're onto a winner. So I think we're all patiently waiting for our brother T'Challa to stride the screens again and represent. So what else was there? There was Spider-Man: Homecoming as well. They had a quick kind of panel where they brought out like most of the major cast, and apparently they showed some footage as well. Again, apologies if you're watching this, we can't really talk about the footage because we weren't there, so we didn't see it. But general thoughts on Spider-Man: Homecoming. I know they released an image, concept art image with Spider-Man and the Vulture and how the Vulture is probably going to look. I imagine there'll obviously be tweaks before the final film goes out, but a rough idea of what the Vulture is going to look like on screen. Did you guys see that image, and did you have any kind of immediate thoughts on it?
Yeah,
go
it just looked. It looked cool. You know what I mean? Spider-Man fighting Vulture. Like it looked like a tech suit as well that Vulture was wearing as well. So you know, I think it had kind of like what looked like kind of like fans, kind of like drone fans in it or something like that. At least that's what it reminded me of anyway. But no, man, this Spider-Man, it's like, look, they know what the fuck they're doing. You know what I mean? It's Marvel making all the creative choices, not Sony. So I have faith in it. I like the way the Spider-Man suit looked. I like that concept art. I like the fact that they're making it about him being in freaking school and all that business and having obviously to do with his superhero life, which I don't think any previous films have focused on as much as they could. And so yeah, I mean, I'm happy with the direction they're going in. Again, it's just another case of I won't get too excited until I actually start seeing a bit of the thwip and all that kind of stuff.
Rich, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for Spider-Man. The panel, I thought the panel was okay. It wasn't as high octane for me as the others. I'm happy with Tom Holland being Spider-Man. I was happy with them showing the cast of who he's going to be in school with, things like that. And like Arvin said, I think that's another thing that I'm really, really excited about. And it's by putting putting Peter Parker in school, you know, they're taking him back to the essence of Spider-Man. And I think a lot of people who are comic book fans or claim to be Spider-Man fans, they seem to, because he hasn't really been in school for the longest time, they seem to forget that he started off as a kid, which is one of the things that I loved when they brought him back into the Avengers, into Civil War, Captain America Civil War. It was the whole thing of like, this guy is a kid and it's going to be, you know, him growing up and dealing with the whole things of being like a kid stroke superhero. And I know one of the things that they were saying on the panel was it's a teenage movie, it's a coming of age movie. It's about Peter Parker in school, and he just happens to be Spider-Man. He just happens to have these powers. So I'm really looking forward to that, type of portrayal of him. Because I mean, I don't think we haven't really seen a superhero dealt with like that in a long time. I think the last time I saw a superhero dealt with that was Superman 1, the Christopher Reeve one. Where basically it's not about Superman, it's about this guy who's been raised in this particular way, and he just happens to have these powers, and he's living this particular life. But I mean, I didn't see the image of him versus the Vulture, and it's a bit in the same. I think is in the same league as like Black Panther for me. Whereas like I'm happy with where they're going. They've done amazing with him so far with like the X amount of minutes that they used with him in Civil War, and basically just a waiting game now. But Marvel Studios haven't stepped the foot wrong so far. So I have complete faith that I can go to sleep at night. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I think with Spider-Man: Homecoming, as I said, there wasn't really too much information given away, obviously because they're still filming it at the time, so they really aren't in a position to give too much out, and that's cool. I can live with that. But yeah, as you said, everything just seems to be going in the right direction. As you both said, the fact that he's in high school is really important to me, because as you said, Rich, everybody forgets that he's a kid, and that's how he started out, and that was kind of what made the dynamic of him so interesting when he started out as a comic book character. So it's great to see, Marvel going back to the essence, taking it back to the roots, and kind of really going back to where the character began with this movie. So yeah, cast looks great. Everything looks tip top. The image looks good. I think it's like propellers out that he's got in his wings. That's what it kind of looks like to me, like sort of drone propellers type thing. So I'm assuming that's what it is. But I'm glad they've gone with that kind of real world look for the wings anyway. I mean, they've kind of set that tone throughout the MCU. So it's good that they kind of stick with that, really. So yeah, altogether, pleased with that one. Okay, I think that covers it for the movie, so we can move on now to Marvel TV. So we had, on the Friday, we had a massive Marvel Netflix panel, and this is like got me so excited because I love the Marvel Netflix universe. I love it. Some of my favorite sort of comic book reading in my formative years was about Marvel street level heroes. Street level heroes, we mean are kind of the guys that aren't necessarily on the big intergalactic missions and are out saving the universe, but are the people who are kind of saving their neighborhood and their block. Marvel and Netflix have done a terrific job with what they've done so far with Daredevil and with Jessica Jones. And this week we got 3 trailers to come out, 3 teaser trailers, I think it's fair to say, but nonetheless trailers they were, and I think just the sheer presence of the 3 of them being there was enough to get me very, very excited. Richard, I know there's one in particular that you're very excited about. Shall we talk about a certain Iron Fist?
Motherfuddle Iron Fist. Yeah. Listen, you know me. Listen, right. You know already from the time when they bought Daredevil, and there was that rumor that they were going to bring Luke Cage. The first thing I said to you, Jay, was like, listen, you can't have Cage without the fist. Yeah. I know that sounds dirty, but it's not. I'm very calm today. I'm casual today. There's going to be no sexual innuendos. Maybe maybe I'm not going to make any promises. Maybe at the end. Iron Fist is my guy. Like that's one of the things that me and you have in common, Jay. That we like our street level, vigilantes, stroke superheroes, stroke protectors. We're both fans of Daredevil, but Iron Fist. Like, listen, I'm gonna be getting the Dragon of Kunlun tattoo on me. Now's the time. I think like this is a sign from the seventh heaven gate, Sun Wukong, whatever you want to call it. This is the sign that shit is good. Now with the trailer, I mean they didn't give away too much of the trailer. You got a brief glimpse of his origin, of him ending up in the Himalayas and being found by the Tibetan monks of Kunlun. You didn't see any form of training. The next time you see him, it's him basically ending up back in New York and being strapped to a bed. So I reckon what's going to happen is that he's actually going to make it back to Earth, and they're going to think that he's crazy because he might be coming back and sprouting all this stuff of like, okay, I used to be here and I used to be there. And if anybody who's a fan of the Iron Fist comic book knows, until recently, the only way you were able to get from Earth to Kunlun and back was every 10 years when there was a specific when a transportal gate was open and you would be allowed to go through. So and I reckon they try to do things like dope him up and maybe try and forget, and then basically at the end of the teaser trailer you see him kick down the door, and you just say I think you hear somebody say hello Danny. So I reckon it's literally going to be a thing of him finding himself again and reacquainting himself in the real world, and then doing what he does best, which is kick ass, man, and then also being best friends with Luke Cage. So yeah, I'm super excited for that. Like I cannot wait. Like seriously.
Yeah, I think with Iron Fist, it's just such a different kind of thing for them to do. It's great that they're kind of, with the Netflix projects, they're kind of not following the Marvel Studios as such, but they're taking that similar approach of let's try and go somewhere slightly different with each of these characters. So even though they exist within the same world clearly, each of them kind of inhabits a different space. And with the Iron Fist trailer, it was very ethereal. It was very otherworldly in terms of the way that it was cut together with the music, with the drums and the chimes and everything. You could tell they were setting up a stall straight away that this is going to be different. This is going to be different to what you've seen before with the other ones. So that was really, really interesting for me. That stood out. Alf, what did you think, man?
Yeah, man, I'm not too familiar with his origin story. So for me to see those snippets already, I was like totally interested in all that. And obviously the door bit where he blasts the door off, I was just like, okay, so it's gonna go fucking down at some point, like pretty early on in that show. But I suppose the one thing I'm thinking of is like I want to know as to who kind of like the series antagonist is gonna be or whatnot, and as to whether he does meet Luke Cage at the end or at some point later on in the story. But yeah, no, it looked good. Obviously, I want to see how they translate the suit to the screen because that's always important. And I mean, his suit, depending as to which one you're looking at, the one with the collar, for example, I don't want to see that one. But the other more tracksuity looking version, I think I'd like to see that. But yeah, I just want to see. I just want to see more, man. Like, I am totally looking forward to it, and I can't wait to at least binge watch 8 hours of it on the first day when it drops. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that. It's like there's nothing Marvel related that I'm not really looking forward to. I know it sounds a bit like an almost bias or something, but they know what the fuck they're doing. Whether it's TV or film, yeah, I'm gonna watch that shit totally.
You know what I want to see? I'll tell you what I want to see. This will be like. Okay, remember I said about no sexual innuendos? Yeah, fuck it. This will be my cum theme that I want to see, right? So you got Jessica Jones, right? You've got Stick. Basically, you know what they did with the Avengers in the first Avengers, where like the camera pans around them, and you see them doing their own little thing of their weapon of choice or whatever, and then they kind of just went and kind of replicate the same scene again in Age of Ultron, where they're trying to protect like the little handle that they need, that's keeping the island or the little town afloat. I want to see that, but I want to see them surrounded by fuckloads of hand ninjas and people and like Luke Cage, Daredevil, Stick, Elektra, Jessica Jones, Punisher, just going at it. Like, because the reason why I'm saying that I want to see that is because there won't be any form of like superpowers, so to speak. I mean, obviously, like someone like Iron Fist has a certain amount of superpowers, and Daredevil has his powers as well, but they're not like like repulsor rays that the Iron Man has, or a magical hammer that can come back to him. It's just literally going to be balls to the wall, like hands to face, and knees to crotches, like proper action. And I'm just thinking of the fight choreography that they've pulled off in Daredevil season 1, and then like what they did in season 2. Now imagine all of these guys on screen just going at it. Like my heart's beating now. My heart is beating. That's good, man. Like I can feel my age kicking in. If I carry on talking about this, I might not live to see this Iron Fist TV series or Defenders TV series. So I'm just gonna calm.
Yeah, take a Revolve, man. You don't. We don't need you to pop a blood vessel on that. Yeah, no, it's really exciting. What they're doing with the Marvel Netflix TV stuff. As I said, I'm a big fan of it, and I really love it. Iron Fist looks like it's going to be a great addition. We also got the teaser trailer for Luke Cage as well. Um, that I'm a big Luke Cage fan, as Richard knows and Alvin knows, and anybody who knows me knows. And I love the way they set up this trailer. It was fantastic. I mean, I think a few people who I saw online, a few people who were grumbling, saying, "Oh, they didn't get like what the story was about, or anything like that, or they didn't get an origin story." But I didn't really see what the complaint was, given that most of the people who are going to watch Luke Cage either A, know his origin story already, or B, watched part of it in Jessica Jones anyway. So there was no point in kind of going over that again. Instead, give people a sense of what Luke Cage could do, which is kick ass. And the choice of Old Dirty Bastard Shimmy Shimmy Ya was just genius. But the guy who's the showrunner on Luke Cage, he was a hip hop journalist apparently for a number of years. He worked for a few of the big American publications, and apparently he was one of the last people to interview Biggie before he died as well. So he has kind of like a big hip hop influence over the production. And also, I believe they had Tribe Called Quest old DJ. I think it's Ali Shaheed. They had him doing the music production and music supervisor on Luke Cage as well. So apparently, it's like a whole heap of kind of sort of 90s hip hop infused with a little bit of kind of 70s funk and so on as well, to give it that kind of blaxploitation vibe. But yeah, I'm really excited about it. I love the way they showed off his powers. I love the way that when he's in the hallway and there's a load of guys running towards him, and he kind of just is just like, yeah, bring it on, and starts throwing people up into the ceiling and pulling pipes out of walls and beating people with it. I was like, okay, this is the kind of savage Luke Cage that I want to see. So guys, what did you make of the Luke Cage trailer? Alvin, what did you think of it, bro?
Yeah, it just had straight up attitude, man. Like as soon as like it kicked in, pretty much, like you said, it was mashing people up and all that. I was like, man, this show, and it just kind of solidified as to that him as a person, just no bullshit. You know what I mean? Gets the job done, goes in. You know what I mean, and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I like that all these Netflix shows. It's like they're all within the same world, within the same area, kind of within the same city. But everyone's a little bit different. You know what I mean? Because like you had a lot of kind of martial artsy kind of stuff with Daredevil, but I think obviously the martial artsy stuff with Iron Fist is going to be like kind of like a lot more. And Jessica Jones was kind of like, you know, a PI, private investigator, and then you got this kind of like streetwise kind of just dude who obviously his origin story and all that kind of business. And you know, he goes out, starts, you know, sorting out his neighborhood and all that, which is quite a commendable thing if you think about it. So yeah, I'm looking forward again. Yeah, doesn't it? Yeah, I shouldn't even say that I'm looking forward to it. Everyone should just assume I'm looking forward to it. But yeah.
Rich, do you have anything to add, mate?
Oh yeah, I like that. I love that trailer. Like you said, Jay, that the use of Old Dirty Bastard Shimmy Shimmy Ya was just perfect. Like literally, it was just perfect. I like the way in which they seem to be heading, which is, I don't know if you remember, Jay, we were talking earlier about one of the reasons why I think Marvel comics in general has always been like, you know, like really good at what it does, and it's a whole thing of that it's never had to create its own Gotham City or Central City or Coast City. Everything takes place in the States or in America or wherever, you know, that character seems to be at that point. And you get this vibe, this feel like I said, and you know the guy who you said is in charge, who used to be the journalist. Like it seems very very real world based. So I saw an interview with him on one of the panels, and he was basically saying that they're going to be in certain parts of Harlem. They're going to be in certain cafes like Jazz Cafe. Like they're not just going to go to just some random buildings. They're going to be in places where real shit has happened. Like this person has performed there, or that person has performed there. And I know he was saying how unless I misinterpreted what he said, that he was going to get he was going to put in a few favors and get some famous faces to appear in one way or another. So I think he was Scott, Eric Bennett. I mean, from what I can gather, the route he seems to be going with Cage is almost like what Sanford Green and Walker are doing with the Power Man and Iron Fist, where it generally the city itself is a character, the people in the background are going to be characters. But I mean, yeah, I'm loving that. But like you said, man, just Cage coming in and just whooping ass. And the thing that I like is that he's different. Like you said, Jessica Jones almost has this with her is this whole thing of like, okay, I'm just gonna slap you around, but I'm gonna hold it back because I've got issues, I've got problems, I don't want to let loose because I know I'm not right in the head. Whereas like you got someone like Daredevil where he's got this martial arts, but it's a bit more scrappy. He lacks a bit of the fight. And then you got Luke Cage who's just like, oh, fuck. I know I can run through this wall and stuff like this. But so but let me just see if I can just handle this diplomatically. And he just wants to walk in, and they should know what he's capable of doing already, but they don't want to listen. And he's almost like this whole thing where he's like, when he's just hitting certain people, he's almost boying them. Like even the bit where he rips the door off, and like he knows that he's invincible. So is that running joke from the first teaser, where he basically says like, oh man, that was like my favorite hoodie or my favorite T-shirt. But he's trying to rips the door off because he's trying to protect his clothes. So I found that really funny. But I like, and the other thing, like you said, I like the fact that he's protecting his manor, the hood. Like like we said, and this was the thing about when they were making the Netflix TV shows, is that they were saying like you can go out and fight these amazing battles in space and whatever, but what happens in your back home as well. So like they're really sticking to the root of what they've already established in Daredevil and Jessica Jones, and they're going to be going with Luke Cage as well. Whereas like there's always something happening. So I'm liking that they're sticking to the essence of what these shows are about, and from what I can gather, I think this is really going to work well when the big bad turns up for the Defenders, because then then everything's going to really really flow together. But I'm super excited. Like I said, super excited, and plus, like I said, he's Iron Fist's best friend, so I can't wait to see these two on screen. That's one of the things. So yeah, I'm excited.
Good. Thank you, man. Well, you segued us nicely across to the third teaser trailer we got, which of course was for the Defenders.
Hold. Sorry, Jay. No, there was 4 teaser trailers.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to the 4th one.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, so you should be. So, as I was saying, that before you spoiled that, Richard, you'd actually segued us quite nicely into the third trailer, which was for the Defenders. Now, the Defenders teaser trailer, obviously, again, is not going to give away too much because it's not due out until 2017. But what I liked about it was the kind of meshing together of like the old posters, and then where bits of the poster tear away to reveal like kind of lettering underneath that gives a clue to the kind of character that they're talking about. It kind of, for me, gave a sense of again, these different people who come from different places but are kind of cut of the same cloth in a way, and how they're all kind of interconnect and join together to form this group, the Defenders. I noticed the kind of hand symbol was revealed after all the paper had torn away, which I guess kind of hints that the hand are going to be one of the big villains for the Defenders. And then, of course, we got our good boy Stick at the end, giving a pep talk like only Stick could give a pep talk. to the Defenders at the end as well. But it was really, really good. I mean, I loved the fact that they used that Nirvana song as well. That Nirvana song is so good. I mean, that is such a good tune. I'm sure Kurt Cobain's not happy. He's probably spinning in his grave that they use this song for a TV show, but it just fits perfectly. So, Rich, as you interrupted, did you want to add anything more with regards to the Defenders teaser?
Yeah, obviously, I was gonna say, well, obviously, you've mentioned already the hand symbol, which could obviously mean the hand ninja group. But I'm not sure if I'm making this up or if I actually did read this. Did anybody read that they might be bringing in what's her name? The Daredevil villain who was deaf, Echo.
Oh,
Yeah.
there's been kind of hints about it. Yeah, I remember. I think I have read that, and they've kind of hinted that there's a possibility it might happen. Whether it's actually going to come to fruition, I don't know. But I think maybe with the way kind of season 2 ended of Daredevil, spoilers if you're watching this and you haven't seen the end of season 2 of Daredevil, Elektra ends up in the hands of the Hand, the ninja group, and I think maybe they're alluding to something happening to Elektra that kind of facilitates that. I'm not sure. But yes, I did see that as well about Echo. So I'm not sure if that means there's going to be a separate actress cast to play Echo, or if, as said, they're going to try and allude to Elektra being part of that. There was rumors that Mephisto was going to be the villain in the Defenders as well, which would have been very left field. I know it's been done in the comics, but it would have been very left field for the TV show. But again, maybe that would be something to do with Elektra and kind of how the way Daredevil season 2 ended and things like that. I'm not sure. But sorry, carry on, Rich.
Oh no, because what I was going to say is that the actual hand sign is also actually the symbol for Echo as well. She has the handprint, like she puts her hand in.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry, yeah.
If like maybe if the actual hand that you see at the end of the Defenders teaser could have like a double meaning. As for Mysterio, I mean that would be an interesting villain, but you know what it is? He seems
not
like
Mysterio. Sorry, Mephisto.
They will get Mephisto.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's taking it kind of deep.
Yeah.
Like they're kind of stepping out of your depth. Like, but in saying that, if he was the big bad, that speech that Stick gives at the end of the teaser trailer, that's totally fucking worth it. Then. You want to fight him? So yeah, I probably Kurt, don't fight him. He was kicking the wall. There's plaster falling from the fucking ceiling, man. So yeah. If nobody understood, that was a reference from Kickboxer.
No, I'm sure there's a few old school martial arts heads out there who's watching. It should be all good. Alf, did you want to add anything, mate?
Yeah, just that it reminded me of I don't know if you remember the original kind of like Avengers teaser, where it was just Samuel L. Jackson talking, and then just like the Avengers A, and then the rest of the logo. It just reminded me of that, which I thought was I don't know, just thought it was nice. But yeah, I thought Elektra. I still think Elektra is going to be possibly the antagonist / villain of the Defenders in some way. Just because, like you said, the way Daredevil season 2 ended, it seemed to kind of put her in that place, because that's not the end of her story. It can't be. So yeah, I'm still of the belief that she will kind of play an important part of what they have to go up against.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does seem to make sense that she would play some part in that. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that goes along. And then, of course, there was the tiniest of teaser trailers for Daredevil Season 3. Rich, you wanted to talk about this earlier, so I'm going to give the mic to you and let you jump all over it.
Oh no, I thought it was. I just thought he'd actually forgotten about it, but it was just like the teaser was just amazing. I mean, the thing is, I saw all of these teasers. Like I think, what was I doing? I know what I was doing. I went to go and see Star Trek Beyond. So by the time I got home, Like basically, normal UK was asleep, but obviously, the States is awake. So being like 3 o'clock in the morning, what do? Hey, let's see what the world is saying. And you go on Facebook, and I saw one trailer, and these trailers just kept on rolling off after each other, and I was like, okay, don't watch them now. Let me go have a shower and a shave, yeah, and then watch these things. And the Daredevil season 3 trailer was just, what it was? It was they don't need to do anything flashy. Like they know what they're capable of doing. After first season, they knew they had it in a bag, but they were just like, okay, when season 2 comes, these are going to silence all the naysayers. This season 3 like teaser trailer was just perfect. It was just perfect, and I like the fact that it kind of alluded to like the extra, the superhuman hearing sense that Daredevil has, where he can hear, he can hear more than what the normal person can hear as well. And then it was just like the sign that had like levels 1, 2, and 3, and then I think it was number 3 that got hit with a stick or got covered with blood. I actually can't remember, but it was
blood.
It was blood, but it was to the point. And the thing that I like about the trailer as well is that out of all of the Netflix series that we've seen so far, Daredevil has definitely been like the most violent and most Earth one. So just by that blood being thrown on like the number 3, I think that season 3 is really, really gonna get dark. It's gonna get really, really gritty, and especially like we mentioned before, with the death of Elektra. I mean, is Matt even gonna be in the right place? I think he's gonna be. He was an angry man to begin with, and the only thing that kept him on the straight path was his faith. But then he's met somebody like like the Punisher, who's basically he's seen what he's capable of becoming, and Punisher says that famous line where it's like, you're just one bad day away from being me, and then you get somebody like Stick coming back into his life, who was like, well, you know what, like you were one of the greatest things that happened to me, and then you just left me, and then you also had Elektra, who was also able to bring the badness out of him as well, and all of these things, and then then she gets ripped away from him, much like his father did. So I'm thinking to myself that come by season 3, I'm not sure where these series are actually going to fall into place, but we're definitely going to see a different type of Daredevil which is going to tie neatly into, I think, the Defenders. Going to be Elektra, that's going to be the main villain. Then if they're looking to go down the path of when Daredevil became like the kingpin of New York, then they're definitely heading the right way. But
Shadowland.
Shadowland, that's it. Yeah, Shadowland. I mean that would be a big feat, but either way, the teaser trailer is definitely probably one of the best things to come out of the 4, I think, for me. As much as I love Iron Fist, but I think Daredevil is just straight to the point.
Cool. I'm amazed you got all of that from about 30 seconds, man. Jesus. Like you've obviously been analysing that 30 seconds deep.
Joey,
Okay, cool. Well, I think we need to move on now from Marvel Netflix, as much as I love talking about it, because there's so much other stuff we haven't covered yet. Let's move on. We need to go over to ABC. With ABC Studios, of course, that means that's the home of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. They had a massive panel as well. I'm not so much a fan of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. anymore. I did stop watching it a long time ago, although I have heard from people who still watch the show that it definitely improves a great deal throughout its second season and onto the third. Now, with this panel, they did have one piece of big information to give away, and that was that the character of Ghost Rider is being introduced to the series. Now, all of a sudden, for me, I'm like, holy shit, Ghost Rider, I might actually start watching this now. We found out that the Ghost Rider is going to be Robbie Reyes, who's the most recent incarnation of that character. And for those who don't know, he doesn't ride a motorcycle. He actually has a car. I believe it's a Dodge Viper, I think it is. I'm not sure. Somebody can correct me. But apparently, the comic book that Robbie Reyes is in is pretty good. There's some pretty stunning stuff done with the visuals and the artwork in there. So it'd be fascinating to see how Ghost Rider is going to play out on the screen, along with these other established characters from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and from the universe that they've already put together. Alvin, did you have any ideas as to how you see Ghost Rider kind of fitting in, or anything like that?
Well, I mean, it was interesting because for a while, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has been focusing on the whole Inhumans angle, and have kind of concluded that in a way, if I remember correctly, from kind of like last season. They kind of did a big kind of story with that. And obviously, there's no Inhumans film coming out, so I think they kind of just went, all right, well, we can drop it now. We've kind of ended our kind of little run on the Inhuman stuff, and now they're doing this, which is what I think the show should have always been. It should have always been a way for Marvel to kind of explore the characters who probably weren't going to get a movie or their own series, because let's face it, not all of these characters can have their own movie or series. So they may as well drop these characters into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and have them show up every now and again and whatnot, and do cool versions of them. Obviously, what I'm most interested in, obviously you've got Danny Ketch and Johnny Blaze. They must have come before and been Ghost Riders before, so it would be cool if we could see them at some point, perhaps. We probably won't, but no, I have no idea as to how they're gonna kind of bring him in or anything like that. And I think it's probably gonna at least be a few episodes before we first see Robbie Reyes as Ghost Rider. But if I remember correctly, in the comics on the Ghost Rider, it was that he obviously lived in like the Hispanic hood or whatever, and then it's his uncle, his dead uncle, was the actual spirit that caused him to.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
It resurrected him and caused him to become Ghost Rider. It's like his uncle. He doesn't find out for quite a while. His uncle Eli, I think his name was. But yeah, I mean, if they may as well just go for that. I mean, I don't see as to how they're going to change it, but as to how the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. will get involved, how S.H.I.E.L.D. will get involved, I have no idea. But yeah, that's the kind of the beginning of his story. After he accidentally, I think he doesn't steal a car. He's racing in a car that's got drugs in the back of it, and there's this whole stuff with what's the guy called, Mr. Hyde?
Yeah,
but he's already been
Hyde.
done before, so I don't even think they'll do like a variation of it, because he was kind of like a leader of this gang, the Blue, like who dealt with these drugs that kind of turn people into like these massive monsters and that. But yeah, no, I have no idea where they're going to go. But this is what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. should have always been. It should have always been a way to showcase kind of characters who weren't going to get their own movies or series. So they should do definitely more of this stuff, definitely. And they have done bits of that. They had, like, when you had the episode with Lady Sif in it and whatnot, and they did an episode featuring a Kree. They did an episode featuring an Asgardian. It was that guy from Ghostbusters 2, Janos.
Yeah,
it was him.
Right, isn't it?
He played an Asgardian and stuff like that. And also Lorelei, who was Amora's sister, I think it is. She featured in an episode. They should do more stuff like that, because that is what will keep kind of like, well, kind of your more hardcore Marvel fans kind of coming back if you've got kind of more obscure characters and showcasing them. Yeah. Well, yeah, I think it's cool that they did it. Some people have been bitching online saying, "Oh, he should get his own movie." It's like, not everyone can have their own movie, mate. This is the kind of like better in a way.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, I'm totally happy with the character being on TV, to be quite frank. It's one of the things I thought they should have done, as you did when Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was announced as a concept, and when they were going forward with it. As you rightly said, you can't have everybody in the movies. It's just not going to work, regardless of how passionate you happen to be about that character. So this kind of works perfectly for him. So yeah, it'd be very interesting. I assume that they're going to reference Johnny Cage. Sorry, not Johnny Cage.
Johnny Blaze.
Johnny Blaze. Yeah, that's it. Sorry. Yeah, I assume they're going to reference Johnny Blaze in there as well. Richard, are you back now? Yeah.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Oh my God, I shit myself. I swear to God, man. I thought I was gonna miss this. Oh my God, like bloody hell. Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, and do me a favor, please. Turn off the vibration on your phone.
Okay.
Yeah, because it keeps coming up on the record.
Yeah, whatever. I've done it, man. Stop moaning. All right, cool.
Yeah. So
of me.
So we were saying about the Ghost Rider. I don't
Yeah.
know how much of that you caught before you left us. But yeah, we were talking about kind of where we think the Robbie Reyes character is going to fit in with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And Alvin was making the point, and the point that I agree with really, that there isn't really room in the cinematic universe for so many characters. Because he was saying, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, why is Ghost Rider not going to be on in a movie?" and da da da. But I was saying I think this is perfect for him because again, going back to our Netflix conversation, but I don't know if you remember when we were kind of talking about Daredevil back in the day. One of the things I always said was that TV show would be perfect for him because he's a lawyer by day and a vigilante by night. Like,
Yeah.
you don't really need a movie for that. A TV show would be perfect. You could have like a legal procedural one part and then the other part him kicking ass. And for me, Ghost Rider works well in that way. It doesn't have to be on the big screen. So it's a sensible thing to do, I think, to use the character in that facility. And I wonder if that means we're going to see some of the other darker Marvel characters coming out. Maybe I'll finally get my Night Stalkers movie. But I do wonder if it opens the door for that. But yeah, did you want to add anything about Ghost Rider and Robbie Reyes?
Well, I mean, to tell the truth, I've never really been a Ghost Rider fan. It just didn't really do anything for me. Like I said, I mean, it's the same thing that I'd mentioned when we were talking about Doctor Strange earlier. It's like, because I mean, from what I can gather, like everything everything in the Marvel Cinematic Universe so far has been some form of science-based, technology. So, like we said, like we look at Asgard, and I remember Thor. Like I always say that, Thor says to one of the Avengers, what you call magic is just our version of science. So I'm interested to see like how or what's actually going to be, the origin of this Ghost Rider's power. Is it going to be from a demon? Is it going to be some form of technology-based science or technology-based magic or something? That's what I'm more interested in seeing. Like I said, I'm not a fan of the character per se, but I'm really interested in to see like where all of these Marvel TV shows or films are heading, because they seem to be like expanding on the universe ever slowly but surely. So that's my main thing that's got me interested in the Ghost Rider. And and also I've never really been a fan of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show, to tell the truth. But but when he does pop up on the screen, it's something I'll definitely take a peep at. Maybe just watch the episodes that he's in, and hope that Johnny Blaze comes in and takes over Robbie. So yeah, man, I'm old school like that.
Boo! Move with the time. Okay, cool. Well, let's wrap up the Marvel chat because we spent a long time on that. So let's move on to their former neighbors, DC, DC Comics, or DC Films, really, because it's really DC Films that had the big presentation at Comic-Con this year. There was one trailer that dropped in particular that people seemed to shit their pants for, quite frankly. Which was, of course, the Justice League trailer. Now, I think the trailer itself is not so much a trailer, but more kind of footage that was shown to some of the journalists who were invited on that set visit to London earlier in the year. So I think it's pretty much just a culmination of the kind of things that they showed them. What did you make of the Justice League trailer, Rich? What did you think of it? Were you impressed by it? Were you not so impressed by it? Are you super pumped? What did you think of it all?
I liked it. I'm not gonna lie. I liked it. I generally it was just an enjoyable romp for me, to tell the truth. I know there were quite a few people who were saying that they felt that Batman was a bit too jovial and stuff like this, and to a certain degree I can definitely agree with that, because Batman has always been that serious, hard face, not showing any form of emotions type of person. But the only thing I could think of in defense for that was that after this whole battle that happened with him, Wonder Woman versus Doomsday, and he knows that there's another battle coming, he's generally happy. He's found another purpose in life. There is you get these little flashes or these little conversations between Batman and Alfred, and Alfred is basically telling Batman that you're becoming a bitter, twisted person. You're losing sight. You just want to hurt things. So this could be, the reason why Batman is all of a sudden happy, because he's found a new purpose. There's somebody else who's going to be riding by his side, who's reminded him that what it means to be a superhero. So I found that quite enjoyable. A bit off-putting, but like I said, that's my reasons. That's the reason why Bruce Wayne is a bit happier than normal. I like the whole Aquaman. I like the take they've done in Aquaman. He generally is just like king of the seas, but he is this salty sea dog. Like, he likes to have a drink. He looks like someone that likes to have a scrap. He's got the tattoos. He's almost got like that rock star kind of presence. Which I'm really looking forward to see on screen. Barry Allen, I'm not sure if I'm happy with the way how he was portrayed as being a bit of a special, so to speak. But then I suppose the only reason they've gone that route is because they don't want to. They're basically maybe trying to make this version of Barry Allen different to the version of Barry Allen that we have on the TV show of The Flash. Even the way how the powers are being portrayed on screen and stuff like that. But the introduction and the conversation between him and Bruce Wayne was really, really good. The one that I didn't really get a feel for was Cyborg. Cyborg just didn't do it for me, and his suit looked a bit too CGI'd. And when I mean CGI'd, because that's exactly what it is, as in like it just didn't really look very good. But all in all, I really like the trailer. Like, I know that is Zack Snyder directing it, so I'm not gonna hold my hopes too high. But from what I saw in that, I was happy.
Cool. Alvin, what did you think, man?
Yeah, I thought mostly it looked pretty good. I mean, I love the way kind of like the Flash looked and that, and his suit, and the kind of how it looks more like kind of like the one in the comic than the one in the TV show does in comparison to the one in the comic, and it looked maneuverable as well. But I wasn't a fan of. I thought it was a bit weird as to what they did with Barry Allen. I was like, nah, I just thought, why make him more kind of just like Richard special and that, and he just seemed like a bit of a weird kid, and I was just kind of like, why though? I mean, because it's meant to be funny or what? And that scene also reminds me way too much of obviously that scene from Civil War between Tony Stark and Peter Parker. But yeah, no, as a whole, I think it looked pretty interesting. Cyborg for me, he's like his costume, his outfit. It just looks dated to me anyway. So translating that onto film was just like, it just doesn't do anything for me. I wish if they're going for like the New 52 version, where it's kind of like a apocalyptic technology that's kind of like caused him to survive whatever. How did he get his? Completely forgotten. But yeah, whatever happened to him to mash up his body.
Yeah.
If they're using technology from Apocalypse, then surely it should look bioorganic or something rather than kind of like an Iron Man suit or something like that. I don't get why it looks like that. It should kind of fit in with. It should look kind of like a naked human, but not naked, and there's like bits of biotech in his body. That's what it should look like to me. And if they handed me that character to kind of rewrite and redo, that's how I'd freaking do it. But obviously, you don't really get a sense of him because you see him one time he's in his varsity jacket, and then the next time you see him, he's saying something to Batman, I didn't think you were real. It's just like, all right. And then there's a joke that Batman says. The trailer's such a shift in tone in compared to BVS as well.
Yeah.
That it is a little bit jarring. You know what I mean? You did kind of go, oh, hold up a sec. You know what I mean? Why is it so happy all of a sudden? I like that they've kind of done that, but it's like you don't have to go so far. You know what I mean? You can take baby steps towards it. but you know, obviously someone at Warner Brothers was whipping Zack Snyder's back
Mm.
and made him go for a really kind of like jovial tone. But no, overall pretty good. It looks all right. Looks like it could be a good time. So yeah, it should hopefully be cool.
Cool, cool. Yeah, I mean, for me, to be quite frank, I'm on the fence with Justice League as a whole. With the trailer, I thought it was okay, but I wasn't that wowed by it, to be perfectly frank. I'll start with the positives. I did like, I love the fact that Jason Momoa is playing Aquaman. It's so good to actually see like a Polynesian or somebody of Polynesian heritage playing Aquaman and not a bloody blonde white man. Like, what sense does that make? So I'm happy that they've actually got somebody. And on top of that, because Jason Momoa just looks like a freaking badass in whatever he does. You know, whether he's Khal Drogo, whether he was in that rubbish Sylvester Stallone film, I can't even remember the name of it now.
Bullet to the head.
Yes, that's the one. Thank you, Richard. But he was the best thing about that film, like the only thing worth watching in that film. You know, he just got a real charisma and a presence about him. Even the Conan remake, again, like he was let down by a crappy script. You know, he could have nailed that role if he had, you know, some better script to work with. So I think he's going to win big out of this Justice League movie for sure. He's definitely going to be the standout, I think, with audiences. And just the way that the trailer kind of treats him with that respect and the character with that respect as well. I think is going to ensure that he's a big hit. So yeah, he's a big plus for me. Visually, it kind of all looks good, I guess. It's still got that horrible Zack Snyder dark tint to everything, where it's all kind of got this kind of grungy sheen over the film, and he just seems to have this massive problem with colors. I don't know why, but he just wants to wash out everything. Basically, my problem with this trailer is Zack Snyder. Like, I've really gone off of his style of filmmaking. And it just seems a wash with all of his Snyderisms, you know. The humor to me felt very forced, and I was somebody who wanted more humor in DC films. But as you said, Alv, it feels like they've kind of, it's almost like, you know, say you're having a conversation with somebody, and you know, they're making a cup of tea, and they put in like half a teaspoon of sugar, and you say to them, oh, don't you want a bit more sugar than that? You know, it's probably not going to taste that great with half a teaspoon. And they go, oh, I should put more sugar in. Oh, okay then. And they take the entire sugar canister and pour it into their cup. That's what it feels like to me. It feels like he's kind of gone, oh, more humor. Okay, I'll make everything funny. And it's like, no, you don't need to do that. Like, you could, you know, if you're working with good writers and good actors, they'll be able to draw the humor out of the scenes themselves, you know, because that's what they do. But it just feels like he's kind of tried to shoehorn lots of humor into the film. And again, I'm judging the film on like a 2-minute trailer, which I know is silly. But this was just my takeaway from it. Wonder Woman, they've changed her look in this film, certainly for the trailer. She looks a bit weird. She looks like she's been on the beach somewhere. Like, her skin's really tanned and her hairstyle's different. Yeah, I guess like she's been chilling on the Themyscira beaches and tanning in between times. So I'm not too sure about that. Cyborg, like, why they're struggling to get Cyborg right, I don't know. It's fairly simple, you would think, from a design point of view to get that right. So why he kind of looks like a transformer, I don't know. But yeah, that seems like a misstep to me. Flash, I really like Flash's armor and the design of the costume. I think that's kind of cool. They needed to do something different, obviously, to differentiate him from Grant Gustin's Flash on TV. And I think they've done that, and you know, it kind of incorporates the Injustice video game vibe to it as well. But yeah, again, the way the character's kind of portrayed in the trailer, it's a bit odd. I mean, Ezra Miller's like good. He is good. He was in that movie We Need to Talk About Kevin. I don't know if you two have seen that.
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
But
I've heard
you know,
of it.
that You've heard of it, yeah?
Yeah.
That book and the movie, are obviously about like troubled teens, and he plays that kind of role very well. Here, he is quite funny in the back and forth with Bruce Wayne, but there's just something off about the whole thing that I'm not too sure about. Ben Affleck looks okay, I guess, as Batman. The new armor and the new costume design look cool. And those people who were burying the mother box at the beginning, I don't know if they were supposed to be like new gods or just like a group of random people in armor just burying a mother box. But
I thought they were Vikings, because in the trailer you hear them saying that something's coming, and they were kind of alluding that this isn't the first time that they've tried to come to Earth. So I just assumed that it was like just Vikings, having fought against Darkseid people and somehow managed to pull it off, and it just basically what they did in like Captain America at the beginning, where it shows with like the whatever people and the Norse gods having hidden the Tesseract wherever to keep it safe. So I just assumed that's the aim, the direction they were going with that. But sorry to interrupt, Karen.
No, that's cool. Yeah, I mean that was kind of all I wanted to say. Really, I wasn't too sure about the trailer as a whole. As I said, visually it looks stunning, but as it always does with Zack Snyder. But I just I'm still kind of burdened by what we experienced with Batman v Superman. I know we haven't talked about it on the podcast yet. Trust me, listeners, we're going to get to that one, and it's going to be a doozy. But I'm still kind of burdened with what went down with that. I'm not convinced that I've seen enough change in between that and this to think that there's going to be a different approach other than, as I said, the very forced humor that we've seen so far. So for me, I'm pretty much, where Justice League is concerned, I'm on the fence until I see like a proper trailer where it's been cut together with a bit more footage and a little bit more context. I'm very much on the fence with that one. Did anybody want to add anything else on Justice League?
Two things. Okay, the first thing. So obviously, I just in case, hopefully, I'm speaking on behalf of myself and probably for Alvin as well. But the comment that we made about Barry Allen being special, if anybody takes any offense in the term that we used, we're not in any way was it meant to be rude. We're just basically saying that the way how he's portrayed as a character is something completely 100% different to how the character of Barry Allen is portrayed in the comics. And so was it? If anybody takes any form of offense, please don't bombard us with any form of hate mail underneath our YouTube channel. That's number one. I don't really apologize very often unless I'm found wrong. Number two, I'll tell you one of the things that I was surprised they didn't do or put into this cut scenes of like the Justice League, because to me it looked like the Justice League trailer was kind of them forcing it. Like I think DC as films right now, I think they're kind of struggling and they're kind of shitting themselves. And but one of the things I'm surprised they didn't do was put any form of reference of Superman into this cutscene, into this rough cut. I was actually surprised about that, because this is the first time, whereas like Jason, like me and you and Alvin as well, we always discuss that DC they tend to think that they can't do anything without the Holy Trinity. If nobody knows what the Holy Trinity is, it's basically Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. And if you're Catholic, it's the Holy Spirit and the other two guys, yeah. And if you're a sci-fi fan, it's and then that Jesus guy.
that dude that apparently came from heaven somewhere, the Son of God or something.
and if you're a sci-fi fan, the Holy Trinity is the original Star Wars. So but basically, I'm really surprised that they've said, okay, listen, let's just leave Henry Cavill to it, and let's just deal with these characters for the moment.
That kind of, they're still playing this stupid game that Superman's dead. Oh, he's dead. Like really, really, like that. But you know what? That's what you get when you try to shoehorn in the death of Superman storyline into a movie that didn't need it. That's what happens.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll get to that. God, Rich.
So those are the 2 points that I wanted to make.
Cool, cool. Alpha, did you want to add anything else, mate?
Nah, not really. Nah.
Cool. All right. Yeah, let's leave Justice League alone before I get angry. Um, so we also had from DC Films, we had Wonder Woman. We had a trailer. We had a panel with Gal Gadot. I realize that you apparently pronounce her surname Gadot. Gadot always seems like more stylish to me, so I'm going to keep calling her Gadot. Sorry, Gal. But yeah, Gal Gadot and the director Patty Jenkins were there, and Chris Pine was there as well, I think. And they showed us, as I said, the first official trailer for Wonder Woman. I really enjoyed the trailer. I was quite surprised because when they showed the first set of footage, remember when they were before Batman v Superman came out, they were kind of doing a big push on television about the birth of the DC film universe, what kind of things were in store and what they had planned for Justice League and things like that. The Wonder Woman footage they showed wasn't very convincing at all, but this trailer looks whole heap better. It just looks like it's been better filmed. It looks like they're sticking to the kind of Greek goddess type origins that she has. I love the shots of Themyscira. That looks beautiful. I don't know where it was actually filmed. I think it was in one of the Greek islands, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, it looked amazing. Chris Pine seemed fine as Steve Trevor, from what we could tell. I couldn't really tell too much about who the major villain was. I'm guessing it's going to be Hades, because it's normally Hades. Sorry, not Hades, Ares. So I'm guessing it's going to be Ares at some point. But all in all, I mean, visually it looked bloody amazing. I mean, that looked like it was directed by Zack Snyder to me, the way that it was kind of shot. And that scene where she takes on the soldiers inside the cavern, and she does like the Wonder Woman knee slide, which I think is going to become like her special signature move, because I'm sure she does it in BVS as well. That looked fantastic. And yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to the movie now. Rich, what did you think, man?
I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed that trailer. I like the fact that they're going back to the essence of Wonder Woman, of placing her in like World War. Was it World War Two, right? It is World War Two. Yeah, World War Two. Is it World War One? Oh yeah, okay, yeah, World War One. So I mean, like you can see that they've kind of taken a bit of a hint out of Marvel's work with what they did with Captain America. When like you had all these like superhero films come out, and then Captain America came, and that it was essentially like a nod or homage to like the 1940s serials that used to watch with these amazing soldiers going into battle. So I'm interested to see how they're gonna deal with that. From what I saw of the trailer, I wasn't stupidly impressed with Gal Gadot, to tell the truth. I mean, I think she was okay, but the person who whatever she did on screen physically was really good. But the person who seemed to hold it together for me was Chris Pine. Like, I mean, Chris Pine's I think is a really good actor. He's a really good actor, anyway. But he really held that trailer together for me. Like, so I'm hoping that he's a character that we're going to see quite a bit of. I mean, obviously he's going to be playing Wonder Woman's love interest, and But yeah, I mean the trailer as a whole, I really enjoyed. It.
Yeah, Alvin, what did you think?
Well, the first thing that I noticed is that there's actually colour in this film. You can actually make out that her costume is more of a vibrant red and a vibrant blue rather than the washed out Zack Snyder colours, which was nice to see. And yeah,
who knew colours existed, eh?
Yeah, no, yeah, who would have thought? Colours would be nice to see on a fucking movie screen in a dark cinema. You fucking knew. But yeah, no, it looked good, man. I thought, like, obviously they showed a bit of fighty stuff, which looked pretty cool and all that business. Like Rich was saying, I'm not incredibly impressed with Gal Gadot. I mean, she seemed okay. Didn't seem that much to whatever she was doing, but I kind of did like the story beats of like her seeing a man for the first time, in meeting Steve, as you'd never seen a dude before, and all that kind of stuff. I can't wait to see her discover the wider world. I think that's what will probably be the most interesting thing about it, like her going out into the world with Steve and seeing what's going on and all that business. Yeah, no, it looked pretty good. Again, it's like I'm not super excited for it. I'm definitely gonna go see it because I'm kind of a slave for this kind of thing. I mean, the trailer, I'm seeing it anyway, regardless to what I think. But no, apart from that, well, obviously it's got Chris Pine in it, so obviously Captain Kirk. So there's gonna be some fucking somewhere. Someone's gonna get banged. And, and yeah, no, I just thought it looked pretty cool. I just thought it looked pretty decent, and yeah, I'm just looking forward to seeing it as to how it fits in. Because if it's just an origin story for the sake of an origin story, it's like, what the fuck is the point in that? And I have a feeling that it might be just there just to be there. You know what I mean? And I hope that's not the case. I hope it leads to something important, because otherwise, why tell this story?
Mm. Yeah, no, fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's good. Like I said, I think this is going to be their Captain America, where it's going to link into everything with like what's coming with the Justice League. I'll tell you the other thing that. Yeah, I really hope so. I mean, I know that there's pride in saying like, well, you wanna be different to certain things, but it generally would make sense, like you said, instead of it just being an origin story. That'd be a waste of my time. Or waste of all of our time, to tell the truth. But the thing that I really did enjoy, and it's something that you did kind of see in Batman vs Superman, but because of like you said, because of Zack Snyder's style of like using washed out colors, it didn't really translate onto screen too much, and plus there just seemed to be a bit too much happening. But in this trailer, you see her lasso of truth, and it looks fucking awesome.
It's all glowing.
It looks fucking awesome, man. Yeah. It looks awesome, and I was really happy with that. Because I mean that's one of the things that the thing about Wonder Woman, like when she's not dealt with properly, they just make her the Amazon who can fly, depending who writes her, or can jump really fast, or jump really high, or they just make her super strong and super fast. But she has got these array of weapons that she does use, and like I said, I mean you do see it in Batman vs Superman, but I really hope they delve into this thing, because the whole gauntlets that she's got, the headband that she's got, the lasso of truth. I'm sure her boots can do something as well, and I'm sure you see something in the trailer where you see like a spark come off from the boots before she does something spectacular. But physically, and I mean the powers of Wonder Woman, they seem to really stuck true to the source material. So that really seems interesting. It's just I think Gal Gadot really is gonna have to prove herself now and try not to live off the laurels of what she was able to pull off in Batman vs Superman. But either way, I'm quite excited for it. So that was my last couple of points I wanted to add into that.
Cool, thanks, Rich. Yeah, I mean with Gal Gadot, I mean for me, I was quite vocal in the fact that I didn't think she was going to be a good choice at all. I was not impressed with what she did in Fast and the Furious. But to give her some due, apart from a few wobbly moments in BVS, she was generally quite good. And I think with this movie, because she's got a director who actually knows how to work with actors, in Patty Jenkins, I think there's going to be somebody there who will actually guide her through the film properly. And I think that what we'll see, because we saw it already in the trailer, in the bits that I saw, I thought, that's, her delivery's actually improved. She's emoting and she's, kind of reacting to things in a way. So I think that kind of gives me a bit more hope for her performance because of who she's around. Plus she's got Chris Pine with her as well, as said, who's a very good actor as well. And it just looks like they've surrounded her with, the best kind of cast. And Diane Kruger's playing her mother as well. I forgot about that.
Okay.
And again, excellent actress. So, she's got solid people around her. And I don't think Patty Jenkins is the kind of director that's just going to go, look, just do something over there while I find a way to darken the scene a little bit more, and make everything look, kind of brown and orange, and I'm going to shoot you from the bottom up. Yeah, sorry, that was another side of Dick, but yeah, I think I do feel a bit more positive about her in the movie, and I do think she will do the character justice. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed she will. Okay, so we're kind of running out of time here, lads, so we're going to have to whip through things real quick. So let's go over Suicide Squad. They showed a little bit more footage of it. I'm super stoked for Suicide Squad. I don't really need to say anything else about it. I'm just super stoked, and that's that. So roll on next week because I'll be there getting my ticket. Alvin, you stoked for Suicide Squad?
Yeah, man, the movie looks sick. It's looked good from day one. Like, I'd be shocked if I go and see this and it turns out to be a piece of shit. Like, literally, I'd be like, fucking, they got us good, and it's not even April the 1st if that actually happens. You know what I mean? But I doubt it will. I reckon it'll be sick. And yeah, man, it's what, next week, is it? The 5th of August?
Yeah, I believe it's the 5th of August it's out, yeah. I've seen a few people. Yeah, sorry, mate. I've seen a few people like kind of not happy with a few of the casting choices and things like that. But as I said, from what I've seen, from what I know of the Suicide Squad comics as well, because I used to read them again when I was very young. If somebody said to me, "Go out and make a Suicide Squad movie, here's $50 or $100 million." That's probably the movie I would make based on those trailers. It would have that kind of tone, it would have that kind of look, it would have that kind of style, it would have those character representations. There's a lot of people who, well, not a lot, but there's a vocal minority who are not happy about Jared Leto being the Joker. But I'm willing to give it a go, and we'll see what comes up on the screen. I mean, there's nothing that I've seen in the trailer so far that makes me think that he's going to be a poor Joker in any way. So yeah, we'll wait and see. Rich, you want to add anything back?
Yeah, I'm excited. Like I've been said, like from the very first trailer, like it hasn't stepped a foot wrong, and I think that's the first time in a long time that's happened for me. Like I mean, probably apart from Star Wars, but then with Star Wars, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like if you're a Star Wars fan, the passion runs so deep that to a certain degree, like if you see something wrong with it, you'll give it a bit of a bypass. But for a comic book or for a film based on a comic book, which is based on what we consider to the majority of the viewers who aren't comic book fans, like C-lists or like nobodies apart from Joker, it just seems that DC have got their version of, as it stands so far, they've got their version of Guardians of the Galaxy, where it's just going to be that feel-good movie of like people who aren't the best but just trying to do the best they can do, and the trailer just seems just really, really works. So like Ivan said, if this film ends up being shit, I'm going to be surprised. Like generally, I don't even know how that's even possible. Like if the film is shit, then you know what they should do? They should literally just cut the trailers back to back for about an hour and a half and just release that in the cinema, and I'll go and see that. Yeah, so yeah, but yeah, I'm stupidly excited to go and see that, man. Like just cool. I can't wait.
Okay, wicked. Well, there was some other stuff that happened at the DC Films panel. They brought out the different directors, and they all kind of spoke a little bit about what they were doing with their forthcoming projects. But there was nothing really major that we learned from that, so I think we can kind of skip over that, as said time is pressing at the moment. So I don't think it's a problem to kind of gloss over that. So aside from the big two, obviously, in the big two movie panels, there's a couple of things, guys, I'm just going to run through quickly. You can just kind of give me 2 or 3 word thoughts about it, and then we'll bounce on from that. So the first thing was the announcement of a new Star Trek TV show, which was going to be called Star Trek Discovery. I believe it's going to be on Netflix in 2017. And the producer on it is Brian Fuller, the guy who is doing American Gods, which we'll mention as well, and previously did Hannibal, which I've already said is a series very close to my heart. Thoughts on Star Trek Discovery, yay or nay?
Yay.
I'm going nay because it's set between well, apparently it's set between Enterprise and the original series, and I think to go for the future, don't do the past.
Yeah, yeah, cool.
Oh, I
And
didn't
you
know that.
said, yeah, Rich.
Yeah, I thought the TV series was set in the same universe as the TV as the movie, the reboot movies. Or is that
No,
not the
no, no,
case?
no. This is the original
No.
timeline.
See, in that case, you know what it is? The reason why I'd have to go nay then is because like I mean, in no disrespect to to the original series, like when it's been good and it's been amazing. Yeah. So, but now that they've set up this new universe with with the Chris Pine cast, like run with that. Like there's nothing wrong with it. Like work with it. Like don't back yourself into a corner again. Like I don't know. It actually makes sense. Like I think Alvin, what the comment you made of like going back to the past. Like don't do that. Just stick with what you like. Stick with what you know. Stick with what works. If it's not broken, don't fix it. So now I'm actually gonna have to sit down and do a bit more research on that and see what the actual premise is behind it, because now I'm not that much excited. So nay, I changed my mind. Nay, send
All
them to the
right.
gallows.
Okay, so there was, let's quickly whiz through this as well. There was the Preacher panel. You guys, have you both pretty much finished watching Preacher now?
No, I only did the first episode. I've not had time to watch the rest.
Right.
I've done
Okay.
the first few, but I need to rewatch them again.
Okay, because I've only watched like the first 2 episodes so far.
Yeah.
So I need to get hold of the other ones. But yeah, I love the show so far. And they pretty much confirmed there's a Preacher season 2 coming. So, yay, good news, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I love
it
the
was
show.
good what I saw. Yeah.
Cool, fantastic. We got a couple of trailers as well. We got there was a new Blair Witch Project movie trailer. I completely forgot that they were doing a new Blair Witch movie. Apparently, it was shot like I think last year. Yeah, it was mid last year they were filming it. But I completely forgot because Blair Witch has been so far off my radar that I didn't even know that was still a thing until they released this trailer at Comic-Con. The trailer looks pretty good. Looks like quite tense, and there's some good jump scares in there, which is what you want from a horror film, I guess. But is there anybody really that interested in Blair Witch anymore? Rich?
Well, I don't know. You know what it is? Like, I think the only Blair Witch Project film that was good was the second one. Second was the first one, and that was. You know what? In saying that, if you look at the people that that these horror films are actually trying to appeal to now, some of these people weren't even around when the original Blair Witch Project came out. If you think about it, so yeah, so I mean, let's put it this way: if we've forgotten even about it, if we even forgot about the Blair Witch Project, how much more are the younger generation gonna find this thing entertaining? Although they are suckers. I'm sounding I'm sounding ageist, aren't I? Fuck me, man. I'm showing my age, innit? It could even be like, hey, man, you're just angry at the young people because they can run faster than you now. No, it's not even about that, bro. Maybe a little bit, but it's not even about that. Yeah. But I just think that it's not needed. And I remember like the people who created the Blair Witch saying that it was always meant to be a trilogy and there was like always a bigger story behind it. But this might be the Star Wars prequels. Be careful what you wish for, because when you get it, like you just want to take a shit and just forget. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not stoked.
You might get a Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm not stoked on this at all.
Cool, Alvin.
I literally don't give a shit. Like, not to be mean, but
You can take mine, Alvin. You can take mine.
Not asked about this. Like when they said there's a new trailer for a new Blair Witch, I was like, "What is this? 2001? Like nobody, like who the fuck cares? Don't give a shit. Move on. Next thing, please, Jason."
Cool, fair enough. That's good enough for me. Another trailer, Kong Skull Island, which is I guess is kind of like a reboot for King Kong and like kind of the King Kong franchise. Don't know a huge amount about it. I've heard rumors about them possibly crossing it over with Godzilla and kind of doing something along those lines. Only thing I have to say about this trailer is that looks okay, but was really disappointed that Samuel Jackson has not called King Kong a motherfucker yet. I've got that for the movie. If he does that, that will make my fucking day, and I'll be happy. Guys, anything to add?
It was okay. I told you I haven't actually seen the rebooted King Kong that was done by Peter Jackson. I heard I think it got split reviews. So like some people said it was really, really good reimagining of it, and then some people just said, "Well, like, well, you're wasting your time." Yeah.
Yeah, it was lackluster.
It's average at best.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, the only thing, yeah, I mean, Samuel Jackson, just because he's a guilty pleasure, and when he's good, he really is good. Tom Hiddleston, I'd see it for him because I think he really is a decent actor. I do find it a bit odd because I mean, like from what I can see, that the past few roles he has been they have been a bit more action based. I'm not sure if they're trying to train him up or gear him up to put him in the minds of the people so they can try and push him maybe to be this new 007. But yeah, would I see it if I get the chance to maybe see it for free? I might even. But will I go out my way to go and see Kong Skull Island? I don't think so. So I'm not gonna say yay or nay. I'm just gonna say I don't care.
Fair enough. Yeah. Alvin?
Yeah, as long as they don't do what they do with Godzilla and fucking not show the fucking wicked.
Oh my god.
You know what I mean? And hopefully it should be alright. Samuel L. Jackson, that's a plus. So's bloody Tom Hiddleston and what's her face, Brie Larson as well. She's in it, right? Or yeah, she is in it.
Yes.
Yeah, she is. Yeah.
Yeah, she is.
So yeah, I mean, it could be okay, it could be alright, but yeah, just don't fucking not show the fight scenes, which is why everyone's fucking there. And it can't be any worse than that 1970s Godzilla, King Kong remake I did. So
I like that one with Faye Dunaway, yeah.
Jeff Bridges.
It's Faye Dunaway and what's the dude? What's the dude?
Yeah, Jeff Bridges.
Yeah. Lebowski. Yeah, Jeff Bridges. That's it. The Money Lebowski.
Interesting fact about that film. Right? If you watch it on TV, the bit where King Kong's got her in his hands, you see a boob. You actually see a nipple. No joke.
In which one? What?
Wait, you see
the 1970s King Kong. I swear down. Yeah, you see a bit of tit by accident.
Where did you find that on?
One time when I was watching it on Channel 4 or something, man, and then I was just like, oh my, I was like, that was nipple. That was totally nipple.
What? Whose nipple? What? Faye Dunaway's nipple or King Kong's?
King Kong's nipple, Rich.
King Kong's sexy nipple. That gorilla nipple, innit?
Hey, hashtag free the nipple, man. Free the nipple.
Yeah, free the nipple, baby. Free the nipple.
Okay, next up, The Walking Dead. Walking Dead had 2 panels, obviously, because now they've got 2 shows. I don't know how they managed to pull that one off, but there you go. So we had the Walking Dead panel with a teaser trailer, and then we had the Fear the Walking Dead. I'll be honest with you, Fear the Walking Dead, I completely bypassed it because I watched the first 4 episodes and was like, F that. The Walking Dead, as you know from the last podcast, I've got strong feelings about that show. I watched the teaser trailer, and the best bit about it for me was seeing Ezekiel and his pet tiger Shiva from the Kingdom. That was pretty cool. So that may kind of pull me back into the series again when they start to introduce his character. Rich, I don't know, did you see the trailer at all?
I didn't see the trailers for Walking Dead or Fear the Walking Dead. And Fear the Walking Dead, I actually haven't seen any of the episodes of it. Yeah, so I'm going to have to sit this one out, lads. Sorry.
Okay. No worries. Alvin, I mean, you're the Walking Dead guru out of the 3 of us, so any takeaways from what you saw?
Well, I didn't see the Fear the Walking Dead trailer just because I'm not in a bad way, but I'm not fucking bothered. Like, I've been watching it, and I when they went to a mid-season break, I thought the season was over. Turns out it wasn't. It's just mid-season break, and I just kind of like, why? I don't want to watch this anymore. And then I'm watching the kind of season 7 Walking Dead trailer right now, and yeah. I mean, obviously we're going to see what happens with Negan and all that kind of business, and it's going to be interesting to see as to how we get there. Just because I have no fucking clue, and I also want to know who fucking dies as well. But yeah, I'm always looking forward for The Walking Dead to come back. So bring it on, man. I'm totally looking to get fucking, lied to about certain people dying and whatnot and shit like that and red herrings. Bring it on.
Mm. Okay.
Cool, fair enough. And then the last thing I think was American Gods. They showed a trailer for the adaptation of Neil Gaiman's novel American Gods, and it looked really good, really good. It's very trippy, and you're really not gonna, unless you've read the book, you're not gonna have a clue what the hell is going on. But it looks like really good, and again, it's Brian Fuller at the helm with that one. And again, going back to my favorite show, Hannibal, if there's one person who knows how to do trippy, it's Brian Fuller. So it's really visually stunning. I was surprised at how good Ricky Wheatle looked in the lead role of Shadow as well. Although apparently he's been very good in the 100, I think it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really impressive. Any takeaways, Rich? Alv, I don't know. Do you know the American Gods?
No, I'm not familiar with it myself. I'm actually just having a look at the trailer right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like, good on Ricky, man, because at the end of the day, it was in Hollyoaks and that. Obviously, went to America at some point, and now it's like looks like his career's doing all right, man. And Britain loses its actors all the time. Like, everyone just fucks off to the States, and it turns out that this guy's obviously pretty decent, but he wouldn't have got the opportunities that he's had in the US over here. So fair play to him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's because Britain doesn't pull his finger out of his
No,
arse.
it really doesn't.
Yeah. Rich, sorry, I cut you off before, but go on.
That's cool, man. Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm a Neil Gaiman fan. I mean, like, I think American Gods was actually the first Neil Gaiman book that I read, and then I read I think Nancy Boys. But I'm super stoked. I think American Gods is just an amazing story. In fact, anybody who's actually listening to this or watching this podcast, before the TV show even comes out, go and pick up a book. If you need to pick up a book, go pick up American Gods and give it a read. It's a very interesting take on society and how we put things on the pedestal and worship certain things, which I think is quite quite a given now, considering we have things like Instagram and and people like Kim Kardashian and stuff like that. But I haven't smoked, and I'm trying not to get too philosophical, so I'm just going to leave it as that. But American Gods, yes, definitely, can't wait for it.
Yeah, no, that was a great point that you made, Richard, actually, about the worship, the idolatry that the book brings up.
Is that a word? Is that a word, or you just make that shit up?
I'm pretty sure it's a fucking word.
No. You can't say I'm pretty sure. Is it a word?
I'm 99% sure.
It's a word. I've just googled it. It's definitely a word.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, don't question my vocabulary, man. But no, as I said, you raised an excellent point. That is that's a big part of the book, and it is very poignant, as you said, because of the day and age that we're in, and because of the way that we worship our idols and things like that, whether they be pop stars or anything else. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Plus, of course, it's got Ian McShane in it, man. It's got Lovejoy. Like, you can't go wrong. It's Lovejoy. When has he ever let us down? Ever? Like,
Never.
So it's a win-win for me. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that, man. Right. So those were kind of the major things that happened at Comic-Con. Rich, did you want to quickly go over some comic book stuff? I mean, sorry to rush you with this, but we haven't really got much time at all. But I don't know if you wanted to quickly mention anything comic book wise.
Yeah, I mean, Marvel are going to they've released the Marvel previews, and they're talking about Marvel Now, and basically it's just going to be a jumping on point for people to, a perfect jumping on point for people that haven't read comics before, or haven't read comics for some time and are looking to pick something up new. Some of them are going to be getting brand new reboots, so basically starting from issue 1, and some of them are going to be just continuing on, but it'll still be an easy jump on point for readers. A few of the stories are going to be, I think, from what I can gather, Fallout, or from what's happening in Civil War 2. I'm not gonna, like I said, I know we're kind of strapped for time, but I'll tell you some standout ones for me. Occupy Avengers, which is written by David Walker, who's actually writing Power Man and Iron Fist right now. From what, like I said, these are just one-page pictures that I see. It's starring Hawkeye, which I find very interesting because there is actually a Hawkeye series coming out now, and the main protagonist seems that is going to be just Kate Bishop by herself. So that's those two. What was the other one? The other one was Invincible Iron Man, with Riri Williams taking over from Tony Stark. So let's see how that goes. Obviously, everybody knows about Tony Stark giving up Iron Man, and a young black female taking over. In conjunction with that, there's going to be the infamous Iron Man, which is going to be another title running beside it, and it's going to have Doctor Doom as Iron Man, which is very interesting, and that's obviously some fallout with the character of Doom for what happened in Secret Wars. Like I said, we don't have enough time to go over that. What else have I got? I've got quite a few. Then we've got Doctor Strange coming out with a second series called Doctor Strange Sorcerers Supreme. So obviously, with the film coming out in either I think October or November, they're really going to try and push this character out and try and make it just a bit more noteworthy. Thor is actually going to get his own comic book series now. It's actually going to be called The Unworthy Thor. So we're going to be dealing with him still not being able to weld Mjolnir as Jane Foster's currently having that, and being the female Thor and doing a bloody good job. What else have we got? Just bear with me. And then we've got Iron Fists. So there's actually going to be an Iron Fists comic book running alongside Power Man and Iron Fist. And this Iron Fists story seems like it's going to be dealing with the fallout from the 12-issue series that Carl Andrews wrote last year. So I'm interested in seeing that. It's going to be starring Danny Rand, the little girl that he rescues in that TV series, and baby dragon Xiao Lu, which is what actually gives the Iron Fists their power. And then there was a few more. Let me see what it is. Cage is actually going to be, as in Luke Cage, is actually going to be getting his own his own comic book, and that's going to be written and drawn by Genndy Tartakovsky. If you recognize that name, I know Jason definitely recognizes that name, and I know you do, Alvin, as well.
Yeah,
this is the guy that basically did Samurai Jack. If you don't know who Samurai Jack is, I'm not going to get into that shit because I'm going to get angry and want to slap you. Google it now and watch that TV show, because they're actually going to be doing a final season for it as well. Don't say I don't give you guys who listen anything for free. Now, this is a really interesting one. Thanos is going to be getting his own TV show. So I can only assume that it's another character that
Comic book,
really...
bruv.
Oh, sorry, comic book, yeah. He's going to be getting an ongoing comic book. I'm not sure if this is a good idea, because villains who have their own comic book never really ends well for them. Because, well, just for obvious reasons. But the image that I've got here it basically shows Thanos' face on the front cover, and in his eyes you can see some energy coming off his eyes. But if you look closely, in each eye there's actually an image of what I assume to be the Phoenix. So that's pretty interesting. And as you know, Thanos is always the person on the lookout for ultimate power to appease his mistress Death. So this just might be like a new thing that he's after. What else was there? Was that the... Oh no, I know why I've left this one till last. Richard Rider, the original Nova, or Nova Prime, or Nova Centurion, or whatever you want to call him, but let's just say Nova, is coming back with his own comic book. And I am fucking excited, because like literally the last time he was written, I think he was written by Dan Abnett. And if anything, the way how Richard Rider as Nova was written, it actually helped propel the Guardians of the Galaxy, the the team that we see now. He helped push that team to become as popular as it was, as far as I'm concerned. And but he's been dead for, or quote unquote dead, NERD, no one ever really dies. He's been dead for the past couple of years, and now they're looking to bring him back. No, so far nobody knows how or what in what way he's going to be in relation to the Marvel universe or to the current Nova, which is Sam Alexander. But I can tell you now, I've always been a fan of Nova, especially from back in the day with the New Warriors, and I'm talking about the original New Warriors, not the New Warriors that helped kick off the Civil War comic book line. But yeah, that was the last one. So those are just a few things to be looking out for Marvel now. And I know it sounds like we're really, really anti-DC, but DC have already done their DC Rebirth and everything's been released already. And that's the reason why I'm talking about Marvel, because all of this stuff is what's going to be coming in the next few months. The end.
Okay. Thank you very much, man. Alvin, you didn't have anything to add to that, did you?
To that? No.
No. Yeah, I think you pretty much covered every base there. It's thank you. Okay, well, cool. That's it, man. I mean, I think we pretty much covered like everything that noteworthy that went down at San Diego Comic-Con. So I don't think there's anything more really for us to talk about on that note. So we're going to have to wrap this up. We did get a few questions this week, but unfortunately I don't think we're going to have time to get down to them. But I do want to shout out the people who sent those questions in. So Andrew sent us a question. Andrew, thank you. I promise you we're going to deal with your question next week. Nathan, who sent us a really good question as well. Again, sorry, we've just not had the time because of the size of the subject we've been dealing with today, but we will deal with that again next week. I also want to shout out a friend of mine. He's known as D Blue Guna on Twitter and Instagram. He's done some artwork for our channel, which hopefully will be going up very, very soon. Thank you very much for that, man. Yeah, that was just really kind of you, because I asked him, and literally he did it within a couple of days and sent it straight over to me. So thanks for that, man. Respect. And I think that's it really for me for shout outs for so far this week. Rich, did you want to shout anything out that you were involved in, or anybody?
No, as it stands right now, just thanks guys for listening. And yeah, that's it really, man. Just stay safe.
Cool. And Alvin, did you want to give a quick plug for the Star Wars celebration stuff you were doing?
Yeah, I've got some two Star Wars celebration vlogs which are edited and are ready to go. I'm just waiting for a graphics card to arrive because my PC keeps overheating and dying on me when I try and render it. So they will be around soon. And well, yeah, you can follow me on Twitter, and my Twitter handle is what is it? At BigAGL85 or at BigA85GL. I can't remember. It's one or the other. And then when they're up, you can have a watch and see all the queuing I did for over 2 days.
Cool. Thanks, man. Well, yeah, so just let us know when it's visible, and I'll pop it up on the blog for us. If you don't know, and you're watching this video for the first time and you don't know us, we actually have a blog that we run as well. Loads of cool stuff over there. Richard's recently done a fantastic piece about Power Man and Iron Fist. We've also got some reviews up of Star Trek Beyond, which is a cracking film. We didn't get to talk about it today as well, but we will talk about that in future podcasts as well. So if you want to check out our blog, just head over to www.woolongtalks.com, all one word. And that will take you straight over there. Rich, did you want to let people know where they can find you if they want to shout at you for abusing them?
Yeah. I'm on Instagram at Rich Reviews. Also, you can find us on Instagram under Wulong Talks. And then you can also find us, like Jason said, on the blog website, Wulong Talks as well. So yeah, that's it. But I don't think anyone's actually gonna want to contact me to have a fight, man. I'm just too cool for that shit. So yeah, man.
Yeah, they probably feel bad about like hurting old people.
Yeah.
You'll be okay. Well, thank you everyone who's watching this video now and who joined us on the live stream. Thanks a lot for coming in and carrying on supporting us. We've got lots of plans and lots of things that we want to do over the coming weeks and months. So stick with us because there's going to be some good content coming your way, trust me. So without further ado, I'm going to say goodnight. Alvin, say goodnight.
Good night, everyone.
Richard, say goodnight.
Lads, good night. Ladies, good morning. I had to, man. I just had to. Fuck it, I had to, man. Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness. He's uncontainable. He's uncontainable.
Somebody has to do.
And that's a good night from me, everybody. So take it easy, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you again soon.